I don't think I'll ever understand how they thought that Black Vulcan was a better name than Black Lightning. But either way, the Berlantiverse is bringing one of my kinda favorite characters, so let's take a look and see what he's like. Welcome to the heart of the stories we tell. My name is Rob, and tonight I will be reviewing Black Lightning, Episode 1. But ow! Hashtag Black Lightning's back. And I have to say, I really dig the whole family angle. I bring the thunder before the lightning. Ba-da-da-da. Alright, fine, I won't sing. Black Lightning is one of those people that I read about on teams, the outsiders in the Justice League for the most part. Not someone that I'm very familiar with as an individual comic. I'm more familiar with Static Shock, to be honest. But at the end of the day, I'm very glad that we're getting an adult superhero. One that's a teacher, one that can think things through, one that just seems like a mature angle on this. Having said that, I totally want a Virgil series too. Or an Icon. Oh, I really wish we could have Icon. But okay. For those of you that don't know what I do here, I review stories. Like this, I do them as they come up, and then every once in a while I do Throwback Thursdays for older ones, and every Sunday I do a theory video, how we tell stories and why. If that sounds interesting to you, click the subscribe button and join our little community, as we're going to try to get to the heart of the story of Black Lightning. Now, like I said, I've read them in team-ups, not on individuals, so my understanding of the history of Black Lightning is going to have to be a little, Google-erific, but that's okay, because let's be honest, with what they did to Arrow, Supergirl, and Flash, I probably don't need to know that much about Black Lightning. But let's unpack and get down to it and see what this is all about. I'm going to throw this up there, and then we're going to get started. So once again, it's stop. Spoiler time. I knew this was going to get into the whole racial subdivide. I really did. But oh my god, to start with having someone be accused of driving while black. That is a place to start. Powerful. I remember when I was a kid, really a kid, like 16, 17, and first learning to drive, the fear I felt every time a police officer pulled me over. And I'm white. Couldn't imagine what it must have been like. What it is like every day when that happens. I mean, literally ripped from the headlines, we see police officers shoot unarmed black men all the time now. Just, what a powerful start. Now, not everything in the episode spoke to me. I'll be honest, most of the music isn't my style. And part of the conversation went over my head. I'm thinking that's because I'm not young enough, and it was probably geared towards teenagers. The stuff in the club, you could just feel it, though. It was real. And although I'm not big on violence against police, I have to say, between Gotham and Arrow, I've gotten kind of used to the fact that our heroes are vigilantes that are not going to play nice with the law. I still like the idea of him being a principal. I like the idea of him being a teacher. I like all of those great things. They even have a Martin Luther King quote that makes me think that this should have aired specifically on Martin Luther King Day, and I think they missed that opportunity. But I'm glad they did miss it, because then I would have missed this, because I watched Gifted last night. But overall, the idea of Black Lightning fighting for his little part of the city, the idea of a powered vigilante that can go the whole way against the 100 speaks to me. That part really does. And I love him. He is quite the role model. He's the type of father I would be, most likely. Let's talk about what we know about the story. The story is that this is a town under siege. There's a gang called the 100, and the idea of it is pretty terrifying. An organized gang that's running around and ripping into society. I mean, we saw in the club just a small idea of what they're capable of. And I don't mean superpowers. I mean the fact that they were about to turn this girl, who, was a main character, but into a prostitute to pay off money for someone that she just met. And you know what? That's the real scary supervillain. But okay, on the TV show they also said other places that have people with power call them heroes. Now, I was under the impression that this is not the same Earth as Flash or the same one as Supergirl, so I'm curious who they're talking about. What other place on this world has a superhero? Could it be one we're familiar with? Or is that just left dangling in case they want to do something more? Either way, 7 years ago, when his kids were still young, he made a promise to his then wife that he would stop being Black Lightning. And he broke it. And when he broke it, she filed for divorce. 7 years later, he thinks he's got it under control. Like he says, he saved more people as a principal than he ever did as a superhero. Except, this world needs a superhero. It doesn't just need a superhero, it needs Black Lightning. And this is the part that sings to me, the part that resonates. What brings Black Lightning out of retirement? His daughter, his teenage daughter, is at a club pretending to be older than she is, and gets into trouble, because his daughters are in trouble. And I'll tell you right now, I don't have a son, I don't have a daughter, but I have a niece and nephew, and I totally understand what I would do if someone was putting one of them in trouble. And we see at the school just exactly what type of trouble. The creepy guy at the club, that could have just been a creepy guy, turns into a creepy stalker guy who all of a sudden is going to shoot someone for laying the smackdown on him. Now, these two girls have a way of handling themselves. In the comic books, they actually have powers. I'd like to introduce you to Thunder and Lightning. I'm gonna be the thunder before the lightning. Alright, I won't sing. They are secondary characters that were also outsiders as Black Lightning's children. And they actually have some pretty interesting stories. We can talk about that another time, because I'm not sure exactly which way they're going with these characters. Right now, we have the studious one and the rebellious one. Gee, those are stereotypes if ever I saw out of teenage characters. But the problems they face are anything but normal. By, maybe 3/4 of the way through the episode, they're being held at gunpoint by members of the 100 gang. And I want you to think about that. A gang member walking into a high school, grabbing assistant teacher, helper teacher, and one of the students and walking out. That is a level of violence that the real world, thankfully, very rarely sees. Unfortunately, I can't say that it's a level of violence we never see. We actually see worse sometimes. Okay, try to stay upbeat. So, the episode really comes together along the whole theme of how are we raising our children and what is it that we are willing to risk for them. And we see this in the deals with the gangs, and we see this in the way he fathers and the information about why it is that he gave up being Black Lightning. But we also see it in the way his girls act and the way that they treat each other. Of course, the big moment comes when we finally get him fully back. Now, the tailor makes him the suit. I didn't catch the tailor's name, and I don't know if he's based on a comic book character or not. I'm going to have to find that out for next week. But that suit is pretty badass. The whole way it channels the electricity, I think that actually made a bit of a force field around him. I think that's how he took the bullet so easily. We'll have to wait and see. But the whole fight sequence at the end, he just runs through these guys. And it's not exactly a normal, everyday type of fight, but at the same time, it's not exactly just using his superpowers. It's pretty cool, especially the fact that when he hits, the lightning goes off. Cool effect. I totally could see this catching on and being a big hit. I hope it is, because I had a lot of fun. Although, I do have one question. Why is it always sinks that get destroyed when people end up with super strength in the bathroom? But where I don't know much about the comic books, I do know what villain we're going with and who Tobias is. He's the leader of the 100, and he is going to be, most likely, at least through the first half, if not the entire season, the main big bad. And he's one of two Black Lightning specific villains that I actually know. So, that's pretty cool. Again, I'm enjoying myself, and I think that this is a good change of pace. It has action the way Arrow does, but a heart more like Flash. I'm not quite ready to do a full good, bad, and ugly yet, or give it a rating, but I'm enjoying it. What about you guys? What did you think? I'd especially love to hear from someone who has a different point of view than me. Maybe someone a little younger, growing up in more in those situations. Let me know. But in the meantime, let me ask you to click that thumbs up and share this video with your friends and family if you enjoyed what I had to say. And of course, if this is your first time here, click the subscribe button. What I want to do is build a community, one that can explore what it means to tell stories, how we do it, why we do it. And in this case, I think I'm going to need some help from some of the experts. Anyone out there really know Black Lightning? I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. In the meantime, right now I'm at about 88 subscribers. When I hit 100, I'm going to give away an Amazon gift card. But for now, I'd like you to join me as we take a walk through the heart of Black Lightning. Now, unfortunately, I don't normally do Tuesday night videos, so these will probably come out on Wednesday.